I'm Erin Lawler Patterson, the Goodness Chick. I'm an addictions counselor, motivational speaker, author, and parent coach. Join me on the journey of navigating the joys and pitfalls of life, addressing parenting, giving back, mental health, addiction, and relationships. If it takes a village, then join me as one of those villagers. Villagers wanted. All right. Welcome. Today, I'm super excited for my first official guest speaker for our podcast is Lisa O'Neill from Spirit of the Holidays. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
So today, kind of a focus that has been heavy on my heart is that we're approaching the holidays. And I know I've had parents and adults over the years talk about being concerned for their young people, or just what are some ways that I can enhance the character of my young person. And I think when it comes to the holidays in particular, we can kind of get very focused on gifts and you know, and Santa and blah, 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 a lot of stuff. And that detracts from not only the purpose of what Christmas and Hanukkah and the holidays are about, but the opportunities that are there for our kids and us as family and us as a community to give. And I think when it comes to the power of giving back and character with our kids and lessons connected to it, self-image, character, hope, and we look at so much depression, anxiety with our kids. And when I tell you how awesome it is to utilize giving back and volunteering, it's insane. And when I was thinking about, okay, this podcast and who kind of came to my mind first was you, Lise. And how not only do you get so many people involved, but the power of giving the people who are on the receiving end, but how it's really, like we were just talking a few minutes ago, something that's now a part of our community.
Absolutely.
And so if I can ask you at Spirit of the Holidays, explaining what it is, kind of where it stemmed from, if we can kind of jump into that. And I know
Sure.
It's very personal, but where from then to now and the beauty of it. And I'll kind of let you roll.
Sure. Well, in 1997, my brother Kev was during that whole time when AIDS was really rampant. And we found out that in the late 80s, early 90s, that he was HIV positive. So he was pretty healthy for a long time. And then 1997, it was downhill for that whole year. And unfortunately, he passed away in October 7th, 1997. Prior to that, I was fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom, and I would help my mom out taking care of Kev, because he was 6'1", 180 pounds when he came home, good-looking guy, used to do some modeling and stuff like that. But at this point now, 1997, he was down to about 100 pounds.
Wow.
And his eyes were sunken in. He looked like he was about 85 years old. Anyway, I was fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom, and I would put Tommy in the backseat of the car, pick up Kev to go to his doctor's appointments. And it was one day that I was driving him to his Dr. Conalucci at Garden State Infectious Diseases. And normally Kev was always upbeat, happy, even on a bad day. But today he got in that car very slowly, and he didn't even look at me. And he kept staring out the window. And I turned to him and I just touched him on his arm. I said, "Come on, talk to me. What are you thinking? What are you afraid of? What's going on?" He turned to me with a tear coming down his cheek, and he said, "I'm afraid you guys are going to forget me." And it was right then I said, "Kev, let's keep our eye on the ball. Let's just get you well. But if anything should happen, I promise you we won't forget you. We'll find a way to honor your memory." So sadly, in October, he did pass away. And we started a scholarship at Lenape High School, where he graduated from. And it was a scholarship offered to students going on into the area of the performing arts. But then a couple years later, my sister was volunteering for an AIDS organization. And she came to my husband and I, and she said, "You know, there's this family. The dad has full-blown AIDS. There's a bunch of kids. They have nothing for the holidays. Do you think maybe you and Tom could get a few people together and get some things?" So we said, "Absolutely." So we did. We put some brand new gift items together. We put a food basket together, delivered it, all good, felt good about ourselves, felt like we did our good deed. Next year she came to us, she said the dad did die. They still need some help. And by the way, there's another family. And at that point, we did a little research and we found out at that point there were about 1,300 families on the casebooks impacted by HIV/AIDS and living well below the poverty level.
Is that just in New Jersey?
South Jersey.
In South Jersey. Holy
yes.
cow.
So my husband looked at me and he said, Lise, this is how we should remember Kev. Not by writing a check. And not that it's not a good thing to send someone to college with a scholarship, but he said we should really help these families and remember him because he struggled and this is the best way. So Spirit of the Holidays was born in 1999 and we started with one family, and this past year we helped 95 families.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wrapped 1,420 gifts in one day.
Yeehaw.
Total community involvement.
Yeah.
Total. Between the high schools, neighbors, churches. Unbelievable, the community involvement.
Which I have had the privilege of being able to be present the day that the presents are wrapped and put on trucks. And I shared with a friend of mine today that I work with, and I said that is one of them who's going to be helping in a few weeks with this, the most amazing, heart-tugging, humbling experiences that you could ever experience. And I think it's something that every one of our kids, it's not an obligation, but a gift to them.
Absolutely.
To be able to be a part of that. So I'm gonna kind of throw this at you. You've now been doing this for a number of years, and you watch as it grows and it grows. For you, watching families and kids and people of all ages kind of present over the years or in the moment, like what are your thoughts in terms of their takeaway?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I find when I have to go out and find sponsors, at first you think it's going to be very difficult, but what I realize is that people want to give.
Absolutely.
People want to give. And even more so, the kids, young students, high school students, college students, they want to give. And they just need to find that avenue. But it makes a difference having a personal story as well.
Yeah.
To be able to share a personal story, for me to talk about my brother and how much he meant to us and how lively and so much fun he was, and he just was a wonderful person. To be able to share that with kids and what he went through and the struggles he went through and what my mom went through taking care of him and the importance of being smart in different things. And once you share that personal story and then you tell them what you're doing and they see the lists come through of what some of these people are asking for. We're talking laundry detergent. We're talking warm blankets. There was
Basic
one
human needs.
There was one wish, a little girl asked for happiness.
Wow.
That was her third wish. I know. So when the students see that, they want to be a part of that. Right. They want to know what it feels like to make a difference. And that's really, we're trying to pay it forward. We're trying to make a difference in the lives of these families. Our thing is threefold. It's to give them one stress-free day, let them know they're not forgotten, and let them know that they're loved.
Yeah.
And it's kind of simple. And to be able, as a student or a young person, you can do that. And when I see these kids, I'll tell you, when they come on wrap day, and afterwards, I get more hugs and I see more tears and I see more smiles than I've ever seen. And it's so worth it to know that they go home knowing that they made a difference in someone's life that day. It's huge.
And it's not...
changes them.
It is. And I think it's like a domino effect. It's a gift to these kids.
Absolutely.
I always, I'll tell kids, what's some of your highs in life that aren't substance related? And so many kids struggle, I don't know. And I feel like when we give them, and this is, it's, one opportunity that I think that can become, I look at it as contagious.
Yep.
Like finding one stoke in life, and I think community service, I think giving back is so underutilized within our communities. And I'm going to even say nationwide, if you want to kind of make a generalization. We have young people struggling I'm unhappy. I'm feeling, I'm super anxious, and I'm not dismissing any of these feelings.
Absolutely.
But when we connect that with a sense of, wow, I have the ability with my own two hands. I can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that could feed somebody.
Yes.
I can wrap a gift that's going to somebody on Christmas that's literally going to make their year.
Yep.
Holy cow, that's super awesome. And I
Absolutely.
feel like on a parent level, on a community level, I think if we kind of become more in tune, and whether it's calling local churches, it's hopping on, your website, which is
www.spiritoftheholidays.org.
okay, and they can, whether it's writing a check,
Absolutely.
or it's I'm in South Jersey and I want to get involved, or I'm in California and I want to send an Amazon Prime gift that's going to be delivered to the
Absolutely.
church.
They can
it's
go on
super
Amazon
there.
and Spirit of the Holidays is right there.
But what a cool way. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we box ourselves in, well, I'm here and I don't have time to do a whole day wrapping presents. Well, I say write a check.
Absolutely.
And I think as parents we need to, I'm going to kind of put, between our eyes here a little bit. We set the example.
Yep.
It's making time. It's making it a priority, because when we don't, our kids get that. And we very easily become self-absorbed. I think we're kind of in that society where it's me, 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 me. And parents ask me all the time, how do I get them less me? One of the biggest tickets to get them less me is realizing it's not all about me.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, there was one example. We get about 30 or 40 students from Lenape. They come and they help. We get students from everywhere, St. Augustine, from Sequoia, from Seneca. The whole Lenape High School district is involved. They're awesome. They are just awesome. But it was one year that we had a snow event. And so now
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, and I'm counting on, almost 50 kids from the Lenape district to come and help, and here we have a snow event. Well, sure enough, we put out a Facebook thing and we just start getting it out there that, look, the doors are open to the church. Please come and help us. And it was like snowing out and everything. I'm thinking, but I want people to be safe. I don't want them to drive in this. Well, I think it was our best turnout ever. And you know what it was, to your point about parents? It was awesome. Parents were saying to me, I told my son, go sled for an hour, because then we're going to the church and you're going to wrap gifts for kids less fortunate. And I thought that was beautiful. And I'm telling you, I've never seen, we opened up the doors. It was like something out of a movie. The snow's coming down and people are just flooding into the church and they're grabbing the gifts and they're wrapping and they're preparing food boxes. And it was really, that was one of my most memorable Spirit of the Holidays. But you're right. I think to your point that, it really takes parents to be able to say, look, guide them. Mm-hmm. And what it does for these kids, like you said, is unbelievable.
I think it's
priceless.
One of the most multifaceted, powerful lessons like that it can offer kids with self-esteem, character. Like I've had so many kids over the years say, like, there's nothing that gets me stoked. I'm struggling with being sad all the time. And I'll say, like, what do you do after school? Or what do you... And they're just not plugged in.
Absolutely.
And it's like, well, I don't go to a church, or I'm not in a synagogue. And I'm like, listen, relax. It's getting in touch with your local soup kitchen. It's contacting a local youth group. What are you guys doing? And it's finding ways. And I know during the holidays there's a gazillion opportunities, but it shouldn't just be during the holidays.
No. Absolutely not.
And it's like, Camden Cathedral Soup Kitchen, which is one of my
Yep.
favorite outreaches
We know it well.
ever.
Yeah.
They rock. And they're
do.
not just, December, we're not just
That's
in
right.
need. They feed about 300 people a night. Like, try to wrap that around. And your kid, 16 and over, like schlepping some mashed potatoes, one of the greatest life experiences they could have.
Yep.
And now they're in college or in trade school, and I'm going once a month to the soup kitchen where I'm living.
Yep.
And it's like this domino effect that I get. I'll tell kids, one of my highs in life is giving back. We take students out to Philly and we'll go with 150 bag lunches.
I love it.
And I love it. And
Yep.
I'm like, dude, there's so many lessons. It's not only am I giving someone the opportunity of I'm putting food
Yep.
in your belly,
Yep.
but I'm saying, have a great day.
Absolutely.
How are you doing today? And I've had kids sit down and we're sitting in a group and it's like, what led you here?
Right.
And some will say, I fought for our country.
Yeah.
And I'm here because, and it's PTSD.
Yeah.
Or it's, I'm struggling with heroin, or I'm this,
Yeah.
and they're human.
Yep.
And it's like, once we humanize people, that kid with the Christmas tree that's getting those socks to that man who served our country.
Absolutely.
And it's like, wow, the world is bigger than me. and my Uggs and my pumpkin spice latte. Yeah. And it's like to look like one less pumpkin spice latte, and I'm now putting
absolutely
something that dude that's serving overseas that I've adopted for, and so it's like this domino effect that I think is one of the most beautiful things. And really what I'm going to throw out to parents is it's not too late. I don't care if your kid's 25 years old. They're always our kids.
Amen.
It's harder when they're older.
That's right.
But when they're younger,
Yep.
it's going out. I said this to a mom the other day, like, go once a month with your young person to the soup kitchen. Mm-hmm. What a rad way for you and your kid to get closer.
Absolutely.
And I don't
Yep.
think we always think about that, because that's where it's like, I'm not sitting and you're trying to super ask me a million questions, Mom, but like we're ladling soup together, or we're throwing, we're putting juice out and we're running food out, and like you have that commonality, which is one of the coolest opportunities that could be used to bring families, bring parents, bring kids, bring
Yes.
siblings together. It's like, it doesn't need to be organized. Going out to a safe part of your cities,
Sure.
of whatever, and like, I've had kids say like, oh, we didn't have time to make sandwiches, so we'll go to McDonald's and buy $10 cheeseburgers.
right.
And like, what? That's awesome.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's like we're handing 10 burgers out. It's going, and with time, it becomes ingrained in them, their character, that I want to help people. This gets me excited. I can change the world with my two hands. Mm-hmm. And when I'm not here anymore, I've left an imprint on people's
Absolutely.
hearts. So I want to say to you kind of in closing, thank you for being part of that mission. And I say this from my heart with somebody who's lost a sibling.
I know.
Knowing that, man, Kevin's proud of you. And knowing that, and I mean this with all my heart, like, they're not forgotten. And we carry them with me, but it's like in every package that's open. Like, how crazy
Absolutely.
amazing is that? And it's, and life is crazy, and it can be heartbreaking, but to know that they continue is just a beautiful thing. And I think that's part of the fuel that keeps us going.
Well, and as we always say, it's such a privilege and an honor to be serving a community that so many people have forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
And so we really look at it as merely just being obedient and doing what's right, what we, think is the right thing to do. And I appreciate you taking the time and just talking about it. I think it's awesome, and I know what you do too. So I think we all put our heads together, and together we can make this world
Change
just
the
a little
world,
bit.
baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're kind of, your head's reeling as a parent, what are some things that we could do to kind of rock and roll, and you're not maybe plugged into something in your community? Do hit up local churches. Hit up, I know a number of grocery stores will have trees hanging with
Sure.
people's names. But if for any reason your heart's tugging with Spirit of the Holidays, which I have to tell you, I was there that year with the blizzard.
Yeah.
With my youngest.
Great.
And I think she was a sophomore at the time. And I remember being blown away. Like, it was one of my most favorite memories ever with
great.
her.
It's a good time.
And it was rad. It was,
Yeah.
it's no matter what, just serve and love, and you can change the world, and it can rock our kids' lives forever for when they become adults. And so if you get a chance, check out Spirit of the Holidays, and whether it's writing a check, Amazon Prime, boom, kicking them something.
You can follow us on Instagram at spiritoftheholidays.org.
Rock on.
And you can follow us on Facebook. We're
Okay.
Spirit of the Holidays with the wreaths with the AIDS ribbon.
You guys do good things, man. Thank you, Lisa. And
Thanks.
thank you, guys. Peace, love, and goodness, and wishing you the best. We're creeping up on this holiday season.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed today's show, I encourage you to subscribe to Goodness Chicks Podcast and pass it along to your friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and have a great day.